And there we go. All right. So, we've all talked about, oh, forgot something. You've been looking about all the stuff about behavior and function and all that fun stuff, right? So I'm just checking the function of my behavior here, making sure things are going to line up the way they're supposed to, right?
That's reliable.
Isn't it? Two measurements, same distance, close enough. In other words, reliable. Oh, science jokes are the best, folks. Everybody loves a good science joke, or not. So, anyway, the point is rather simple here, that you've learned a little bit about the three-term contingency already, and we've been talking about negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement. So, positive reinforcement is something was added as a result of your behavior, which maintains the frequency of that behavior. So, if you really want to start thinking about what positive reinforcement is, look at this little birdhouse. I didn't build it. Okay? It's too cool for me to have built it, I promise you that. Besides, it may or may not be older than I am. And I have the wrong, there you go. I did not get reinforced. Do you want to see why? Shit, it bounced. All right. I have the wrong size pins in here, so we're just going to let that go. All right? So I'll go back and fix those pins later. I just did not get reinforced for her. Basically, I just got punished for something. So we'll get into punishment in the next series. But I didn't do my work. I didn't check properly. My pins were a little bit too short. I could increase the pressure and probably shoot them in there and be all right. But we'll just hold off. We're going to do this thing right. Why do I want to do it right? Because I want my wife to tell me that I did a good job and that she's happy with the end result of me fixing her birdhouse that she's had for forever. And she was really sad when it got broken, and I recovered it. She thought it was in the garbage. I pulled it out of the garbage, and it's kind of a surprise just to get it put back together for her. So anyway, reinforcement. Positive reinforcement, something was added, increases the behavior in the future. It can't increase behaviors in the past. And remember, another thing about positive reinforcement is just because you like something doesn't mean it's a reinforcer. You have to watch that behavior, right? Negative reinforcement, something was removed that increased the behavior. You escaped something, so beep, beep, your car beeps at you, beep, 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 beep. I love how my beepings get quicker. So anyway, you put your seatbelt in, and that beeping goes away, and that loss of beeping is actually a reinforcer. Right? It's a negative reinforcer. People talk about negative reinforcement as punishment. Just don't listen to that crap. Listen to people that know what they're talking about. Look it up. You can look on our channel and get the actual definitions. You can go to all sorts of places and get real definitions for what reinforcers are. But just remember, reinforcement increases the behavior. Always, 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 always. And if you're trying to change behavior, then you need to understand what's keeping that behavior going. And what's keeping that behavior going is a reinforcer of some shape. Right? In some way, shape, or form, that behavior has been reinforced in the past or is being reinforced. There's a lot more to it. How often the behavior was reinforced, the intensity of that reinforcer that's happened in the past, all of that plays a role in how that behavior is going today. But you need to understand that something's keeping it going. Always ask yourself, folks, what's the function of the response? If something's happening that you don't want to happen, what's the function? If something isn't happening enough and you want it to happen more, what's the function? Why? If you figure out what the function is, what do they get out of it, what's coming from that behavior, then you can manipulate the consequence. You can tweak it, right? So you can do things, manipulation like clay. So you can tweak things to make it more likely to occur. You can increase more reinforcers. You can decrease other things, resistance to things, so you can make it easier for the behavior to happen. You can change the context around, those types of things, right? So there's a lot coming later in this course that talks about the specifics that you can do to change those patterns of behavior. But just know, if it's happening, it's being reinforced. So people always say, what's the value, right? Well, this is all well and good, but this is a bunch of that useless science crap. It doesn't bother me. I know all about behavior. I know all about people. Geez, I've been doing this for forever. I'm sure you do, which is why that you're so good at managing everyone's behavior around you. So good at managing your own behavior, right? What's the function? Or what's the value of learning this stuff? What's the function of learning it? You have better interactions in your world. You'll be a better boss. You'll be a better husband. You'll be a better father. You'll be a better brother. You'll be a better friend. You'll be better to yourself if you learn how to manage your own behavior. How do you learn to manage your own behavior? By understanding the principles of behavior. It's that simple. What's the value? The value is simple. Functions. You want to know how people work, how people do things? This is how. This isn't a joke. This isn't some scientific trick. This is how behavior functions. I don't care who you are. It applies across the board. You just have to figure out what the function of the behaviors are. And sometimes there's more than one, which is why I say are. Sometimes you got multiple functions for a particular behavior. Which that shit just gets confusing as all get out. And I may make this stuff sound simple, but it's not. It's really, really complex, and it can be really challenging. It's frustrating. And some of the other things that you need to know. Patience. Lots and lots of patience. Small change means you're having a success. If you've changed something and the behavior starts to change, catch it. Damn it, catch it right now. You see that change that you're after? Reinforce it, strengthen it, keep it going, and understand that the changes are going to start out really small. And then over time, they're going to get big. If you go back to the old way of doing stuff, behavior's going to go right back to the way it was, right where you didn't want it. So, enough lecturing, enough of all this crap. I got to go get some new pins in this thing. Instead of my 3/4 inch pins, I'll probably get my 1 inchers out. And then hopefully I'll be reinforced for changing the pins in my pin nailer and finishing this project for my wife and putting it on the counter before she gets home today, saying, "Here you go, honey, got it done for you." Here's the real secret. Don't tell anybody. It's been sitting in here for a year and a half. Actually, no, it's longer. We had this in here before we moved. So 2 years and 7 months. My wife is really patient. So clearly, as she puts up with me all the time and all this bullshit, and I talk about this stuff day in, day out. So anyway, I'm going to get this thing done and try to get to hopefully earn a reinforcer tonight. Woo-hoo!